Welcome to Around the World on 8 Plates. In this series, we're going to visit different countries and introduce these countries to you. We're also going to teach you how to cook signature dishes from these countries and interview locals from these countries so that you can have a better understanding of what these countries are all about. This is the 5th episode of Season 3, and so far we've traveled from the Czech Republic to Oman, from Oman to India, from India to Uganda. So where are we going today?
So as is customary, we're going to let you guess using a punny monologue. Let's see if you can try to guess which country we're visiting just by listening to what I'm about to say. So here's a punny monologue. One day, my friend said, "Hey, I've got 3 animals. They're all strays." So the first animal he showed me was a stray cat. Meow meow. And he also showed me a stray dog. Wang wang. And finally, he showed me a stray lion. I was like, wow, a stray lion. That's so interesting. A stray lion. Doesn't that sound like the name of a country? Let's see if you can guess which country it is in 3, 2, 1. Well, if you cannot guess which country it is, today we are going to a country with lots of stray lions because today we're going to a stray lion, Australia.
And today we're going to teach you how to make an Australian dessert called Pavlova. And we're going to interview a special guest from Australia who is going to tell us more about this wonderful country. Presented to you by National Taiwan Normal University, Common Core Education Committee, Foreign Language Education Division. What is the first thing you think of when we mention the word Australia? For some people, it's a Sydney Opera House. And for other people, it may be the Harbour Bridge that is right across from the Sydney Opera House. And there are people who also think of the fireworks display. And how can we ever forget the beautiful creatures that live on this big island? Of course, we have koalas and other less known animals like the cool yet aloof bearded dragon, wallabies, and one of the smallest species of penguins, the blue penguins that live on the island of Phillip Island near Melbourne. But one thing you do not know about this beautiful country is that women's rights is an issue that has become hotly debated in this country. In 2022, it was found that in Sydney, only 4 out of the 100 monuments and statues were of women. To change this, the government erected a statue of Nova Paris. She was the first Aboriginal Australian woman to win an Olympic gold medal. And in 2013, she became Australia's first Indigenous woman elected to federal parliament. Although this is just one step, the government plans to build more statues of women so that people can respect women in society much more than today. What other interesting things are there about Australia? Let's find out in Chapter 2. Before we learn how to cook pavlova, let us try to understand Australia better. Let's quickly learn more about this beautiful country. Here is a postcard showing us the flag, some basic information, and the location of Australia on a map. Finally, continue reading to find out more about how women's rights became a big issue on this beautiful island. As mentioned before, today we're going to teach you how to make a dessert called Pavlova. How do you make Pavlova? Let's first introduce the list of ingredients. So here are the ingredients for today's dessert. First, you'll need 4 egg whites. You'll also need half a cup of grapes or any other kind of fruit. For example, you can substitute grapes with strawberries. You'll need some mint. You'll need 2/3 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, Tim Tams. Again, it's optional, so that means you don't have to put Tim Tams on top. And finally, 2/3 cup of cream. Please make sure that you have whipping cream. The first step is to separate the egg whites from the egg yolk. You will need to do this 4 times because you have 4 eggs. So, this is how you do it. You just crack it in half and then slowly separate the yolk. Now, whisk the egg white until it becomes hard or stiff. Continue whisking the egg white until the egg white forms stiff peaks. Now, you can add the sugar. Don't add everything at the same time. You just need to add a little bit at a time. So you add a little bit of sugar, and then you continue whisking and whisking and whisking, and then you add a little bit more, and then continue until you finish adding all the sugar. After the sugar, add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So remember, when you add the lemon, don't add everything, just add the lemon juice and just a little bit. Now after that, you can add the cornstarch. The cornstarch is to make the egg whites even harder. So when you bake it, it will stiffen up. After preheating the oven, it's time to pour your egg white onto a baking sheet. So you pour everything and then make sure that you spread everything evenly. And then use your fork to form a circle around the egg white so that it forms a circle. Now, bake your egg white. Bake it in an oven and make sure that the temperature is at around 120 degrees Celsius or centigrade. Bake the egg white for around 20 minutes or until a brown crust is seen. When baking, make sure the inside is also fully cooked. Now, let the egg white cool before you go to the next step. Now comes the fun part. Decorate your egg white. So first you put whipped cream on top. Make sure everything is covered with whipped cream. Now spread the whipped cream so that it covers the egg white. Now you can add some mint leaves on top. The mint leaves will give it a cool and fresh taste. After the mint leaves, you can add your fruit. For example, today we're using strawberries and we are going to use grapes as well. So you put the grapes, the mint leaves, and the strawberries on top, and then you cover everything, and it's very special because you can serve this on Christmas because the mint leaves and the grapes are green and the strawberries are red. So red and green mean Christmas because they're Christmas colors. And there you have it, the recipe for this simple dessert from Australia called Pavlova. In case you need it, here is a written recipe for Pavlova. Feel free to share in the comments how yours turned out. I know during this pandemic and even after this pandemic, it's difficult and dangerous and kind of a hassle to travel abroad. Fortunately, we can taste a bit of Australia right in the comfort of our own home. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to get weekly video recipes. Anyway, enough talking, here is the written recipe. get to know Australia better, let's now welcome our special guest, Mr. James McAllister.
G'day, this is James. I'm sitting in the Australian bush at the moment. Although you might think that Australia is mostly desert and scrubby, there's actually quite a lot of bushland around the coastal areas. So today I wanted to talk to you about greetings. When we greet each other in the street or to people that we know and don't know, we normally say g'day, how you going? G'day mate, how's it doing? So depending on where you live in Australia, it depends on how much you clip what you say. So rural people tend to speak with their mouth quite closed, and you notice it. So in Queensland, the further north you go, that people go, g'day mate, how you doing? Whereas city people say, oh g'day, how you going? And the difference is that because people live out in rural areas, there's a lot of flies. So they actually close their mouth when they're speaking. So, g'day mate, is a pretty common form of greeting when you're out in the bush.
Where are we going next? Stay tuned as we upload another episode of Around the World on 8 Plates in the first week of February. For today's TOEIC, you will be doing part 3 of the listening test, directions. You'll hear some conversations between 2 or more people. You'll be asked to answer 3 questions about what the speakers say in each conversation. Select the best response to each question and mark the letter A, B, C, or D on your answer sheet. The conversations will not be printed in your test book and will be spoken only one time. Get ready for questions 1 to 3.
So they closed it because it was running out of business, or?
Yeah, and it was old technology.
Okay.
And as well, we were running out of the resources, I think,
Okay.
for iron. And basically, they were not able to compete with Chinese, for example.
Yeah, okay.
Chinese.
Now get ready for questions 4 to 6.
Up over there.
Yeah, on the top.
Oh, okay. All
The
right.
view on Fuloskava.
Yeah.
And here, actually, they are making festivals, music festivals. It
Over
will be
here?
next week it will be there, full of DJs.
Oh, my
That's why they
God.
have this stand for beer already.
Oh, wow.
And you will be drinking just here.
They should put the beer inside. A beer shower.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they are already preparing it.
Uh-huh.
And now, here are the answers. If you need the explanation, feel free to email me at the email address you see on the screen right now. Where are we going next? Stay tuned as we upload another episode of Around the World on 8 Plates in the first week of February.